companies, and one company that's had a phenomenal year is KEC International. It is one of the top gainers of 2024. The stock has surged a little over 95% in the year that's just now wrapping up. And we've been speaking to Mr. Kejriwal through the year. He's been telling us about the robust order book and the strong outlook. In fact, the company announced orders of just over 1,000 crores in the last few days as well. Mr. Kejriwal, thank you so much for joining in. Season's greetings to you. Wish you a phenomenal end to what's been a good year, I believe, for KEC International. So let's actually start there. You know, we've been speaking about this, and I remember in the last conversation, you were telling us how the ordering trends are very, very strong indeed, and you're seeing a big pickup ahead. Is this likely to continue into the last quarter of the year as well? And where do you see the maximum traction when we talk about your order book growth target and your revenue targets? You've been talking about 15 to 20% growth. Which sectors will give you the biggest kicker?
Good morning, Surbi, and season's greeting to you and to your viewers. I think the answer is very clear. It's transmission and distribution. So this year, if you look at our order intake, we got orders of roughly around 17,500 or so. And more than 60%, in fact, 70% is from the transmission business. So very clearly, we are seeing a huge traction in the transmission business, obviously on account of the thrust of the government on new renewables. It's both in India, surprisingly what it's in India, as well as for us in the Middle East. So if you look at our transmission order intake for the year, it's only 40% India. 60% is from the international market.
Okay. Well, Vimal, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, I want to quote the previous sentences we got from you. You said, have never seen such strong ordering activity in this sector and see further requirement. So at that time, you gave us a forecast, or rather a guidance of 15% revenue growth and I think 7.5% EBITDA margin. Would you want to improve upon that, looking at the optimism in the sector?
Morning, Lata, and good to interact with you after such a long time.
Thank you.
I think on the revenue guidance, we are still where we are at 15%, and I think we will also stick to 15% for the next year. Revenue and margin, I think we should be there. I'm not very sure because there has been a slight delay in some executions on the newer projects. But I think we should be there. But we have also said that next year we should be above 9%. So I think we are pretty happy with what we are seeing. And one question which was there was on Q4. I think clearly there will be a lot of orders which will come in Q4. We already have an order in L1 of more than 5,000 crores. So I think this trend will clearly continue in Q4 as well as in Q1.
Execution slow in some areas, you said. Is this government related? Because when you look at the fiscal numbers, which is what I do for a living, the capex has not been as strong as the budget estimates gave us. Is that the reason why things are not as fast as you would like them to be?
So that is the reason more for the order intake not picking up in our civil business. Okay, we were targeting, say, let's say around 5,000 crores of order intake in civil. We are, I think, around 2,000 or so. Largely because there's hardly any public capex except for on the T&D side, which is not as much government dependent as what Power Grid does and other people do. On the public space, I have not seen much spending happening in probably any area. So that's one reason for the order intake slowdown on the civil side, which is compensated by the T&D order intake. But on the execution side, I think the biggest challenge which we are still seeing is the shortage of manpower. I think we're still short of 4,000 to 5,000 people across our businesses. Okay, so that's one problem. When I say manpower, it's basically at the technician level. It would be fitters and carpenters and masons and all those people.
Oh, you know, this is very interesting. I think we should make this a national debate. I mean, one would have thought that we would be labor surplus. So clearly there are skill deficiencies in some pockets, labor not of the kind you would want. That's very interesting, Vimal. We'll try and make that a national debate. But now to come back to the more micro point of your Rupur plant, change of government in Bangladesh. How is that progressing? Is it progressing at all? Any worries? Would it be cancelled?
No, we are not directly associated with the plant. We are doing transmission lines there and work is going on. Okay. So as far as we are concerned on the transmission side, we have not been impacted. But Lata, coming back to your earlier point, it's not a question of skill deficiency. It's a question of people not wanting to leave their houses and come and work. Okay. It's an issue, and we have been seeing this right from the day the COVID happened, when you saw the sight of people walking on the roads and all that. So I think that fear is still there in people, and with your Manrega, etc., people do feel that, why should we go out and, work somewhere else where I can get at least a part of it sitting at home or doing a farm work, etc. So I think it's a question of how do we motivate people to leave their homes and come and work on these projects.
Interesting. I mean, those are other challenges that management will have to navigate across the sector.
Actually, it's not Vimal. I heard this even from L&T, not the official spokesman on the channel. But there are people who are complaining that even those who are there are not that motivated. We try to give them pep talk to be more productive. And there is a shortage of
a labor issue, perhaps. Okay. But just to get back to some of the key numbers, Mr. Kejriwal, the last time we met, the numbers we had was order book at around 34,088 crores, and you were L1 and over 8,000 crores of orders. So now as we're almost closing out the year, where does the order book stand? The actual one and the one where, you were already L1?
So the numbers are more or less, the order book remains where it is, because after when we spoke, we have had execution for 2 months. Unfortunately, we have not had too many order conversions from that day, but I think we are expecting some more to come in. So order book plus L1 right now is at 40,000 crores. And our expectation is that the order intake for the year, which is around 17,400 till now, will touch the projected 25,000 crores by March end.
Okay, so 25,000 crores of additional orders by March end and 4,000 crores of order book, including the L1 orders. Now, got that. Mr. Kejriwal, the power is, really moving well for you. We've spoken about T&D. What about railways? Because I remember in the earlier part of the year, that was where you had a bit of a concern. Things were not moving. But that's also a segment that you've been looking at very actively. What is happening with the railways now? And what do you expect in the coming quarter, Q4?
So railway still remains a concern. I think execution is still a problem on the conventional railway side, where blocks, etc., are becoming a big issue. However, what has changed since last time is that there have been a large number of Kavach tenders which have been issued, and government has started awarding them, especially on the loco side and the infra side. So I think that part, which is right now not there in our order book beyond what we were already doing, I think those orders will start coming in maybe this month itself they are talking, or maybe next month we should get some of so that's the good part of railways, where the Kavach orders and some more technology projects are coming up. The conventional,
and how would the margins be, sir? On Kavach, as and when these orders come in, how are the margins?
Kavach would be slightly higher than the conventional margins because it's a technology product. It would surely be around double digit or so. The challenge remains on the conventional and also some part on the cash flows. I think railways has been having some cash flow issues, and I think that's a challenge which is also slowing down some execution.
Okay. Well, we leave it at that, Vimal. Thank you very much on behalf of your investors for giving them such a glorious year, and here's wishing you that 2025 is equally or in fact more successful. Okay, we have to take a break on that note. We've been